Andre Iguodala recently announced his retirement after a 19-year NBA career. He had an intriguing legacy, earning 4 NBA championships as a glue piece for the Golden State Warriors dynasty. But one thing remains. Does he deserve to be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame? Let's get into it. At first glance, Iggy doesn't seem to have the numbers to justify a Hall of Fame induction. He never scored 20 points per game in a season and was only voted into one All-Star game. In fact, JJ Redick asked him on the Old Man in the 3 podcast whether or not he believes he deserves a Hall of Fame spot. His answer might surprise you. He said, "I'm not a ring culture guy, but I benefited from that. I know I have a lot of flaws. We were talking about, I think there should be tiers of the Hall of Fame. I'm not a Hall of Famer if you ask me. If you ask me, no. Those guys, they had no flaws. And I think I was good, but like Kobe, LeBron, come on, I can't do that. A lot of us can't do that. They have to be in their own, different world. And then MJ should be in his own different world. That's how good MJ was." After hearing that, some might say, case in point, he shouldn't be inducted and he knows it. But the truth is, that type of mentality is exactly what allowed him to excel to such heights in his various roles throughout his career. If you ask his teammates, they have a completely different response. Steph Curry responded to the same question by stating, "Absolutely. I didn't know that was much of a debate," Curry said on Dubs Talks. He's kind of the mature vet that's still putting up solid numbers, but impacting winning at a level that's a difference maker. And Draymond claimed in his own podcast that anyone who disputes Iguodala's Hall of Fame candidacy infuriates him. He claimed that most spectators don't understand basketball well enough to realize the profound difference that Iguodala makes on the court. There's more to Iggy's game than meets the eye, so we dug a little deeper into his career to thoroughly review his resume. Andre Iguodala was drafted 9th overall in the 2004 NBA Draft after 2 seasons at the University of Arizona. In his rookie season, he immediately earned a starting role for the Philadelphia 76ers. He averaged the 3rd most minutes on the team after Allen Iverson and Chris Webber, scoring 9 points, 5.7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.7 steals per game. His minutes were significantly increased in the playoffs, but the 76ers still bowed out in the first round to the Pistons. Iggy was already proving to be a sensational dunker. I mean, prime Iguodala was one of the nastiest dunkers to ever play. But his highlight reel dunks almost overshadowed the fact that he was one of the smartest and most mature young basketball players in the entire league. His output earned him a spot on the NBA All-Rookie team. The next season, the 76ers failed to make the playoffs, but Iggy did improve his averages across the board. Then, during the 2006-2007 season, the 76ers traded away Allen Iverson to the Nuggets, in turn making the 23-year-old Iguodala the star in Philadelphia, and he didn't disappoint. Iguodala proved league-wide that he was far more than a dunking sensation. In fact, he led the 76ers in scoring 4 seasons in a row. The 76ers, a team that had no other All-Stars on the roster, made the playoffs in 4 of the next 6 seasons with Iguodala as their go-to guy. In the 2008-2009 season, Iguodala led the entire NBA in minutes played. And in 2011-2012, he was announced as an All-Star for the first and only time in his career. But before the 2012-2013 season, Iguodala was traded in a massive 4-team deal to the Denver Nuggets. Without Iggy on the roster, the 76ers fell from a second-round playoff team to 34-48. Meanwhile, with Iguodala on the roster, the Nuggets finished the regular season with a 57-25 record and the highest-scoring offense in the entire league. By this point in his career, Iguodala was severely underrated. He only was voted to an All-Star game 1 time and had been named to an All-NBA defensive team once, but his teams had made the playoffs in 6 out of his 9 NBA seasons, 4 of which Iguodala was the leading scorer. Though his scoring totals were low for a team leader, he produced in all facets of the game, in ways that contributed to winning basketball. One interesting stat to recognize is that from 2006 to 2013, Andre Iguodala was 3rd to only LeBron James and Dwayne Wade in assists per game for all non-point guards. And from 2009 to 2013, he was 2nd to only LeBron. Players trailing him include Hall of Famers such as Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Carmelo Anthony, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, and Manu Ginobili. Then, after his one season in Denver, he was traded to the Golden State Warriors at age 30. With the Warriors, he was no longer needed to be a scorer in order for the team to win. His field goal attempts per game dropped from 15.6 during his highest scoring season in Philly to 11 in Denver, and then down to the mid-single digits during his years with Golden State. This wasn't due to a decline in his abilities, but instead speaks to his willingness to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means sacrificing personal stats. It also speaks to his high understanding of ways to contribute beyond scoring the rock. In Iguodala's second season with the Warriors, the team won their first ever championship in franchise history. In the NBA Finals, Iguodala was given the daunting task of guarding LeBron James. He held him in relative check while also averaging 16.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game during the series. His performance earned him the crown jewel of his Hall of Fame resume, the Finals MVP award. For reference, outside of Iguodala, there are only 2 Finals MVPs in NBA history not currently in the Hall of Fame: Cedric Maxwell from the 1981 Celtics and Chauncey Billups, who's likely going to get inducted at some point. And despite the respect he was finally receiving, Iggy disputed that he didn't deserve the award. He told Gilbert Arenas on his podcast that, "I always say Steph did deserve a Finals MVP before the one he got. I did think he deserved one. So I always say, if it was mine, cool. I know the impact I had on the game. I don't need anyone to tell me that I did. I'm cool with that because my whole career was based on that. So I say all of that to say, man, I don't even care. Yeah, Steph should have had mine. I don't really care. I think Steph should have had it." The statement's a further testament to what Iguodala is all about. Instead of basking in the glory, Iggy used the opportunity to give recognition to his teammates. Iguodala and the Warriors continue to dominate the NBA and cement their legacy as a dynasty. In 2015-2016, the Warriors put up the best regular season record in NBA history before losing to the Cavs in the NBA Finals. Then they added Kevin Durant and won another 2 championships. In 2018-2019, they went to the finals once again. 2 of their best players, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, were injured when Andre Iguodala stepped up big. In Game 2, he hit a clutch 3-point shot that put the game on ice. And following the game, he was once again getting tons of media attention. ESPN analyst Max Kellerman went so far as to famously claim that with the fate of the universe on the line, he wants Iguodala taking the game-winning shot, not Steph Curry. Iguodala responded by claiming that ESPN makes statements to draw attention and went as far as to call Kellerman's opinion crazy. As Iguodala aged, his role became increasingly limited, but he still found ways to contribute. In 2019-2020, he was traded to the Miami Heat, where he helped his team reach the finals before being eliminated by the Los Angeles Lakers, averaging 19.5 minutes per game in the playoffs. In 2021-2022, he rejoined the Golden State Warriors, where he won his 4th NBA title. After reviewing his career, it puts his resume into context. You have to dig a little deeper to see how he contributed to his teams than you do for most players. Those that say Iguodala doesn't have the stats should look again. In the regular and postseason combined, Iguodala totaled 6,823 rebounds, 5,765 assists, 1,982 steals, and 721 blocks. Kobe Bryant, Clyde Drexler, Kevin Garnett, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, and Scottie Pippen are the only players in league history to match or exceed all 4 marks. All these players are in the Hall of Fame. For a 7-year span, he was the best passing non-point guard in the NBA, trailing only LeBron and Wade. He was a viable all-star through the prime of his career, though he was only voted in once. He was recognized as an All-NBA defensive player twice. Furthermore, he reached the NBA Finals 7 times, while winning 4 titles and earning a Finals MVP award. And most importantly, he did so without an ego, constantly putting shade on himself while boosting up his teammates. He doesn't care about records or accolades. He cares about relationships and winning. His understanding of the game and what it takes to win is clearly amongst the all-time greats, and unlike others, he's willing to make personal sacrifices that benefit his team. You could make the argument that Iguodala is one of the ultimate glue pieces to ever step foot on the basketball court. He could have inflated his stats, but that's not what he was all about. Anyone that says Iguodala shouldn't be a Hall of Famer doesn't know basketball.